I was like, don't know what she's gonna plant, but it was pretty. Yeah, I'll have to post it. It was kind of really ridiculous. Coming in hot, so I'll bring that down a little bit. All right.
All right. Well, hopefully you can all hear us all right.
Don't know what she's gonna plant, but it's pretty. Yeah, I'll have to post it. It was kind of really
Well,
ridiculous.
as you can tell, I have things not
Pretty
set up
hot.
quite right yet. Anyway, so YouTube is live, Facebook is live. Hopefully everybody's excited for this. And I'm gonna. Good morning. Good morning.
So she's following us right in front. So if you've got questions or anything like that, or comments, I mean, obviously, we can respond right away in front of us. Those that are on YouTube, I don't know if there's a comment section or not, but
There is. There's a chat section in YouTube. There's a chat section in Facebook, and I've got it going on and keep start talking before we get started.
well, how's everybody's week? I mean, we've now going on 3 weeks now being shut in, and got some good news on some deals that are still closing, so that's a good thing. Seeing closing still happening, and so that's a positive thing. Banks ain't shutting down. Okay.
Go ahead.
No,
Okay.
no.
So, anyways, as you can see, we're doing new stuff back here. So I'm bringing more stuff, but we still didn't get rid of the kids' drawings on the ceilings. We're working on that. So, anyhow, um, I had great intentions in the last couple of weeks to try to keep everybody focused and um, in line and have a Monday. But as you can see, that didn't happen as well. Um, Hopefully, some of you listened to Ted last week on Thursday talk about force majeure clauses, things like that. So I thought that was good information to have. I still intend to do a Friday Fun Day on this Friday. I'm going to talk with Kim Tucker. So if you're on today, I haven't seen you yet, but Kim, we need to talk because I have an idea. Things that are happening around here, um, you know, big cleaning, decluttering. We got lots more to do. I'm sure everybody does.
Cutting the grass.
Oh
The grass is
no,
already turning green.
Yeah,
like,
let's don't go there.
Like, oh man.
Lots of screen time. Everybody's having way too much screen time. I think we're going to have to detox next week. Um, we got new stuff. Online shopping is insane. Somebody got a new grill, so he's the house chef. So I'm sure everybody's going through similar stuff like that. Again, we're organizing our second office so that we can have video space and training space and all that. We have boxes and boxes and boxes of trainings we've either purchased over the years or have inherited from multiple places. And so we're getting all that out and messing with it all. So we could learn something really for probably a year or two if I was to decide to go full on into courses every day. To real stuff. I am watching what's going on in the world. There's a lot happening. Obviously, we have COVID-19 that's made us all stay home and not be able to be with each other. Um, so that's frustrating for everyone because we're not able to network the way we normally do. There's all kinds of options and all kinds of things. The rent strike starts today. Like to talk about it or hear about it, but it is part of our real estate investing world. It is a very, very highly funded and very well organized process that's going on right now. It's being processed by the People's Action, which we've been watching with Casey Tenants for quite a while. Um, They're trying to soften their message, which probably is a good thing if I was running their campaign. They're making, but it's not, and really, pressing towards making this sound like it's just a really good thing because supposedly nobody's at work and nobody's making any money, and so therefore all rent and all mortgages should be canceled, not deferred, not forbeared, just canceled. Um, they also want utilities turned back on. They want everybody who's had their utilities turned off to be turned back on with no way of being canceled during this pandemic, with no discussion of what's going to happen when those bills come due.
On the news, I mean, even this morning, they want the governor to chime in on this and get this done. They've got a press conference with him or whatever, trying to get this moved forward. I mean, we've seen it on Fox 4 this morning, and they're even also trying to stop foreclosures and that on the other side and stop the mortgage payments and everything from that side. But you know, I don't know what our governor's going to do. I mean, it's an action that the president hasn't taken, and I don't think the governors are going to take. But
Okay, and I'm seeing that they're telling us that we can stream to Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube. I don't know if you're me, but let's. So we will work on that. I'm trying to read all the threads at the same time
awesome
and talk to you. Yeah. So we will work on that and get with. I think we'll have something fun to do on Friday as well. About the stimulus thing that's making me nuts.
Spending a lot of time listening to that, as well as we've been on phone calls with that.
So I see that Dale posted a link, and I have not looked at that particular, or I may have looked at that particular link, but it doesn't ring a bell at the moment. But there's videos, there's craziness, there's the whole world is out there going, go or Grant. Okay, this is 883 pages of information that the SBA is going to be managing. It is as easy as that, but it's not as easy as that. I agree with Dale. Everybody needs to get applying and working through the process to see if you qualify. But there's all these videos out there, and these people are going that it's way simplified. That everybody just go out and apply for it. Be aware, please. What you're doing when you're applying for this is you are certifying that you have been injured in the COVID-19. And many of us have in many different ways. I'm not saying that we're not. But don't be jerks about it. Because there are people that are literally out there telling you to go out and apply for everything. This is a federal loan you're signing for, folks. Do you really want to defraud the Fed? So make sure your documents are in order, you're not making anything up, and you're not rushing out there to just get yourself a place in line. Because, I think I saw somebody the other day that I knew got their notice back that they were 36,000 in line. I mean, it's insane what's going on, and it's confusing to everybody.
Sure, it's going to be from what I understand, it's going to be the easiest loan that you actually take out, but at the same point, it could be the most intense one.
You have three different processes going on. You have the sorry, I'm listening to lots of different places of people that I trust. So, if you report on Schedule C, you can use this if you're a flipper. If you're an LLC with a subchapter S, you can file. If you fail to report your income to the government through tax returns or whatever, you don't qualify. If you lost money on your taxes, you probably don't qualify. There are lots of things that need to be talked about. it's just there's so many things. I'm not even going to go to all those details. I'm going to go over here. So there are economic disaster loans. There are paycheck protection loans. Those cannot get both in the same business. So if you go after the loan that has the $10,000 that they'll give you in advance as emergency money, that becomes a grant if you don't qualify for the bigger loan, which is the $2 million loan. That's fine, but you can't go back and get the paycheck protection loan because you can't say, hey, I'm staying in business and I want to protect the paychecks that I have in my company, and then also say, but it's been a disaster and I've lost money and I'm not doing business right now. So there's a lot of things being conflated going on, and so I'm listening to people that I specifically trust. I will put a link in the I'll send out an email and I'll put a link in the Facebook files to the white paper that I trust right now, and we'll continue to kind of meet people that way. Um, I see that there's a whole bunch of different places, so you're going to have to CPAs. If you are doing your own books, that's fine. You're going to have to get an appointment with a small business administration counselor and start walking through this process. It's supposed to be quick on some aspects and some not. The paycheck protection deal will become a grant. So if you're doing paycheck protection loans, you take out this loan. It's a 4% loan payable over 10 years. But 8 weeks, you use that money for proper purposes, you get that money forgiven. But if you didn't, say you went out there and you weren't able, and you took out the loan and you were unable to spend it all on appropriate expenses, then it becomes a 10-year loan at 4% that you will then have to be making payments on. So that's how that process works. And then the economic disaster loan is a loan. All of it is a loan.
Up to $100,000.
No, no,
no.
No.
Okay.
The $100,000 is your income. See, all these different things that are conflated and people are confused because the payroll protection stops protecting payroll at $100,000. It doesn't go beyond that. So then you've got, and so that's on the paycheck protection plan. On the economic disaster loan is a loan that says my business is going under, I need a loan because I'm going to have to do da 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 da, and it's a 30-year loan at 4% for up to $2 million. And if applications for through the SBA to qualify for that, they will have given a $10,000 infusion up front for those applicants that need it because they're having a disaster, and that $10,000 will be forgiven if you don't qualify for the big loan. So that's where everybody's getting confused, and we're conflating issues and we're crossing things up, and it's just a mess. So what we really have to do is just slow down, take lots of notes, pay attention not to the flashy people who are going, here's free $10,000, but pay attention to the people who are your CPAs, who are
not only just for our own business or something like that, see if we qualify, but we've got my daughter that's been affected by this, and obviously she's lost income. I've got another son that's lost income on this, and seeing exactly how this applies to them. And I think digging into it a little bit more is going to help us understand all of it to be able to have some of even our family members, to be able
well,
to.
and a lot of this is
Yeah.
what you're talking about is all the kids who were employed at either hospitality or something like that, or hair salons or whatever, and have lost their jobs, where those are under expanded unemployment rules, which is a whole other discussion. So you have expanded unemployment, you have the shared work program, which
Right.
is if your hours were cut, then unemployment will let you continue to work your shorter hours. Paycheck.
Right.
Employment program, and there's just so many different things.
But we also see businesses as going to take, I mean, if the businesses are going to take advantage of this and pay their employees while they're off, I mean, technically you're not harmed. I mean,
Correct.
so technically your business is stepping up and doing this
Yeah.
for you. And if the businesses are not, I mean, like, our daughter being in hospitality, in that if they do that for her, then she would get her full income.
But she doesn't program because she's not a business. She's
That's
an
right.
employee.
She's an employee.
So there's not a lot. There's a lot of people that are out there going double dip, triple dip, go get yours.
Right.
It isn't necessarily going to always work that way.
Yep.
Holly, do realtors with an LLC qualify for this? Yes,
Yes.
you do.
Yep.
And so what I'll probably do is once we've gotten the white papers all together and figured things out probably by Friday, I hope, we'll put out some
that could qualify and do qualify for this. So,
Aaron, to your question, that was a specific question that was asked of my very, very trusted friends. And again, I think it goes to that discussion that I just had. I said, your bank told you that they're separate, you can qualify for both. There really isn't any way for you to qualify for both because either you're saying that I've had a disaster and I've lost money and I need to take a loan so that I can continue. I'm still doing business, but I'm being damaged. And so therefore I need this. They were very clear on that process that it's one or the other, not both. So I think those are discussions that we're going to have because at some point, when it all comes out in an audit, I don't want an issue later where somehow I got misinformed because, as you've heard multiple times, ignorance is never a defense. So we've got to do the right thing at the beginning and not try to overdo it. Let's see. Sorry if we have some lag time, folks. I'm just trying to figure out what exactly
but most
we
generally
need
we
to
get
cover.
the interaction in between,
Well, and I wanted to have another screen up, and
Yep.
it's difficult for me to try to go back and forth. Let's see. I don't see anybody chatting in YouTube, so that's good.
Yep. I didn't think you could, but I mean, I could be wrong.
Yeah, I was chatting on it last night.
Chatting on it, okay.
Let's see.
We're really I mean, I'm having to do this. Well, not having to, more than willing to do this for our church as well as for this. We've been doing it back and forth and shooting live broadcasts. So it's keeping us up to speed, and technology is something else. I mean,
Charlie, thanks for the clarification. You can qualify for both, but you only access one. You can't receive money from both. Okay, is there any other questions straight off on the CARES Act? Because it is, like I said, I think it's something I need to devote specifically either a Zoom or a direct, just a video with some links in order to do it justice. Because just off the cuff, trying to answer questions on Facebook is probably not the best way to cover it properly. Oh, yeah, Brett. Yeah, and there's another provision in the 883 pages that basically says if you currently have an SBA loan that is live and in force, those payments are being waived for the next 6 months. So that will help people with SBA loans currently also. All right, so I'm going to go through our earlier networking session. Dale said market in real time. He thinks it's going to be a bellwether for all the other things downhill. Anybody else seeing that? I have to wait a second because you guys we're in a lag.
We're probably 30 seconds behind you.
Yeah, ahead.
Or ahead of you. Yeah. So by the time you get the message.
That are in there, and then I'll just kind of come back to them as you guys respond. Is Stacy says hoping the Casey Tenants campaign to get renters to not pay their rent through the rent strike doesn't get a lot of people in trouble. Well, that'll be interesting to see. I don't know if it's going to be getting people in trouble. Dale says he's had feedback that they've stopped looking for places to move and will just stay in place. And I think that's probably the major consensus.
Why am I taking you? You know, we can't really verify. Oh, well, I guess we could verify if they're behind, but at the same point, if they're damaged in this, it's almost like buying damaged goods. You may end up still being damaged even when they're being moved. If they've already damaged one landlord.
I think that's the whole point of landlords taking a breather and
true.
relax. So, you know,
And I've heard different aspects on that. I mean, obviously, we've heard several reach out to their tenants and ask them, "Is this affecting you?"
And that is a thing that can be done well in conjunction with these payroll protection grants and those sorts of things. If you know that your tenants are being damaged and you reach out to them and you proactively say, "Hey, let me help you," and then you have proof that you have an economic
and also
reason to have these loans.
Right. And you digging into this and figuring out exactly who qualifies and who's not, and how they can actually access that, to be able to not be damaged, is going to help us because we've got a couple that may be damaged or is damaged through this that we can give them the right paperwork or right knowledge to be able to access these funds. That way they can continue on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so back to the live. It says article put out by National Association of Realtors said the older age are pulling out and waiting, but 45 to 54s are actually staying involved in their deals. Listings are still coming in and contracts are still getting signed. And I did not get in the MLS this morning, and I apologize. I was going too many different directions, but I figured that everybody kind of had a sense. Looks like the market have more than 2 weeks down. We're 4 weeks, possibly longer.
Well, the only side that we see it's really affected, and I've talked to a couple, is the private lenders or hard money lenders, that are sort of they're sitting sitting still. I mean, I've talked to one the other day that he said it's on case or not. They're just looking at it.
Kim says that Jennifer Justice said that a lot of regular retail sellers pulled houses off the market so they don't have showings. And that was, I think that was part of the confusion with the MLS in the beginning of what to do. Because initially they told us take them off the market if the sellers are not going to let people walk through. And then they said, um, put it back on the market and all those things. So JD said he's got a lot less motivated seller calls. Jennifer shared because there are fewer hours on the market, fewer houses on the market due to no one wanting people in their houses, that our flip houses are going to sell quickly because people who are looking to buy a house. Well, that could be a side effect. So, and March stats haven't posted yet, so we'll see what those look like here in the next day or two once those actually get out. Bruce asked earlier, I've heard stories about long lead times for title companies. Is anybody seeing that? And Ron says, yes, the title companies are backed up, not from being shut down or working with less staff, but from a refi boom going on. Lenders are backed up as well.
Nice.
So that could be also part of what's going on as people are going, okay, it's time to refi. The interest rates are down enough that it's got no place.
probably those that refied last year or 2 years ago are now taking time and taking that extra point or two
Yeah.
down. That's interesting.
Let's see. Now, Dale has an interesting comment here. Food supply disruptions are soon to arrive. Okay, well, that's interesting because what I quite well stocked in the supply chain that we had 9 to 12 months backed up in the supply chain. So I'm interested to know more about that because it will make people panic. Um, so that's interesting.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, and Jean's right. Gene just posted in the live feed that his just sold in an hour on the market yesterday. So there is pent up demand. Doing what we do, figure out where to make up for our shortfalls in renters not paying or whatever, and just keep moving. Charlie says appraisal times are extended. Meeting timelines on the 30-day contract is tough. What about that? I guess that's true. Charlie, is that because there's more because appraisers are not wanting to do it, or is it because they're busy doing refis? I'm surprised it hasn't moved more to CMA if you're looking at refis versus full-on appraisals. But I guess if you're pulling cash out in this environment, they probably want a full appraisal.
And that might be the other reason why refis are happening, because people are pulling cash out to just have cash on hand, during this time.
The stock market's gone down as far as it can.
It's an off the wall.
But we shall see.
But I can see people investing in different things.
Yeah.
At this point, it's gonna be interesting to see the economy jump back, and, bounce back, and how it's gonna bounce back. Things are gonna change. There's a change already.
Well, it's interesting because Holly says, I'm still selling. I have 4 buyers under contract, but we're still so low in inventory in Johnson County under 250. I've been very busy up until this week.
Oh.
Charlie said some limited refusals to go into properties. This has been limited in Kansas City. So there are people that are refusing to do this. Yeah. So you've got half of the country that's got fear and afraid of everything and washing off everything and not leaving their house. They don't even want to go outside. And then you got the other half that's out there on the volleyball court and the basketball court and in the park and doing all the things that the mayors don't want us to be doing. So it'll be interesting as this thing supposedly takes its ramp and its curve, and we see I think the biggest problem is that we all don't know what we don't know.
Yeah. Interesting.
The things that we do know is that videography companies are doing very well.
Drone companies.
Grocery companies are doing very well.
I'll have to ask Charlie. I think Charlie went out and got his drone license or whatever back then. I think several people did. I wonder if they're using the drones to do some of these more things now.
I said they're looking to move to an interior drive-by process, so we're probably going to see a lot more of the 360 videos. What is that called? Matterport, I think. So that's doing well, and obviously Mevo and all of those sorts of things are doing very well.
Well, I haven't seen that. I've seen on the news where they had a robot where they just stuck they had a camera and everything on it, and it was remote control. The agent didn't even have to go through. It just actually drove through the house, took the pictures of it and everything. Technology is wild.
So, probably not doing bad. I don't know. I haven't looked at it, but, Amazon and the online things. And we've gotten to the point now where, like, if my kids want something, they're like, Mom, Amazon says it won't deliver until April 21st. How can I get my thing I want? And so we go to Wayfair, Overstock, some of those other places. comes like rapid fire. So some of the backups that we're seeing are just for Amazon specific because it's gotten so big for what do you call it? Pushing off everything that's non-essential. So if you're going to buy um, maybe a T-shirt for one of your teenagers, it's going to take a little longer to come than if you're going to buy dog food.
Yep.
And then watch that because our dog food subscription was weird, and now we've gotten 4 times what we were supposed to get. So the dogs are good.
That's a reminder. I gotta check on that.
Okay, so Brendan, I'm going to go back to some questions back in the original deal about the CARES Act. Brendan, you said you're saying it wouldn't have to be paid back. I don't know if I covered it exactly, but the only piece that doesn't get paid back is if you take the payroll protection loan. So the payroll protection loans, we have a worksheet available to show how you can plug in and see what you would qualify for as a loan. It might be $2,000. It might be whatever. It's 2.5 months basically is what it's for. So 2.5 months of your qualifying expenses is the loan you can take under the payroll protection. If you take that money over the next 8 weeks and spend it for the things that are defined as payroll, health care, taxes, um, rent, mortgage, utilities, and you use that money for those specific things, then it will be forgiven. Any part of that loan that you took that wasn't used for those specific things within the 8 week timeline becomes a loan that you do have to pay back. And that's on the payroll protection loan. The disaster relief loan, it's got whole other criteria to it. Hopefully that helps. Kim, I'm sorry that your coffee pot has gone up. It costs $40 more than it did a month ago. We'll take a month and a half to get here. Maybe look at Overstock and Wayfair, see if somebody else has got it. You know, Charlie says supply chain triage priority.
Yep.
But some of the other companies don't have that brand recognition or the ease of use or the easy button. We've all got an Amazon easy button. Hy-Vee's trying to brand your cell phone as an easy button to buy your Hy-Vee grocery cart. But yeah, so I agree, and it's just a matter of just looking at where you can buy stuff and get it. Yes, Matterports are, and that's why I didn't buy one. I looked at it a long time ago when they first came out. I thought, no. And then Brian brought Mevos instead, so WinVestors could stay up 2 years later and be able to be doing things.
Yeah, the cool thing about this is it follows you, does all the work for you, and it streams to multiple platforms.
Yeah.
So not only to USD card or and Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo. It also we could go Instagram.
No.
We could do that.
No.
It allows for that.
No.
Yeah, I think there's a couple other platforms that we could add.
I seriously don't want to do all of that.
We do have. Remember, I set up an Instagram page a couple of years ago. I've never been on it. It's been a while.
We have Mevo. We have a Mevo camera, which is you want to talk about it?
It's just a small little camera. Hang on, just sign up.
He'll go get the other one. We've got two. We use them at the WinVestors meetings. You guys have seen them. We set them up on the table, and it's so you have the camera, and its accessories. It streams and it saves to Vimeo if you have a Vimeo platform subscription. So that's kind of an expense as well. There's a battery pack that goes under it, and then he's got stands and different things, and it's basically it's a fisheye style camera. It does a wide angle.
It does a 180 wide angle, and it also we can do different shots. I mean, I can actually go in here and let's see here. Let's just hit here. Let's just change that right there.
Oh,
Let's
thanks.
go to that right there. Now watch what this thing does. You'll see exactly how this works. The screen should be getting smaller right now, and as it gets smaller, we can just zoom into one person real slow, or I could have done that real fast, but you could do that.
I might have rather had you do it real fast and then get back out of it real fast.
Well, we cute little thing. Let me see here. See if I can. If I can't really set it. Yeah, I can. Let's see here. I'll hit this one right here. Let's see if I can't go there just for a second. Oh.
Yeah, Mevo. No Zoom. Well, it's okay, Dina. We can do Zoom. You can just leave your video off and it'll just have a little black square where you exist. So that's the cool thing about it is you can, unless you're the speaker, and Ted got by with it the other day. He just had a static picture of himself on the Zoom.
Yeah.
So we're all going to learn how to do interesting new things. That's all. Charlie, I am not scared. I am just not. I am just not the person who likes to be on video camera. And especially not since we're all suffering from, no hairdressers. And my daughter is my hairdresser. She was supposed to come visit me yesterday, take care of the elderly, and come visit me and fix things, but she did not. So, anyways, so it's an interesting little investment. I think, how much are they?
Well, the one that we got was we got the packet, and we got the one. It has the extended battery pack and the stand and the case and everything. Cost us about $1,000.
Yeah, so I think the original set was like $1,000, and then some other stuff we added, and then the video.
Then they have a new one out. I will let you know. It's a compact with the battery pack up to 6 hours, but it does not do what this one does. So just be aware. Research it. It may do what you want it to do. So research it and see. They're kick-started. Through the month of March, I think you got it for $299. So I don't know whether that deal is still today or not. They may tease you a little bit today, being April Fools, but we'll see. I told my wife, I told Michelle, so we are to just tell everybody we're going live and not go live this morning.
So the question, yeah, they're used to it. So Holly says, do you feel like you can get the same result as Matterport with Mevo? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think Matterport is designed to do something completely different. They're designed to go in and do a capture of a still room. Mevo is set up for blogging and things like that, where Matterport's got to move around and have a good solid picture. Mevo needs to be stable on a stand somewhere. Really, it's not.
And then go to another room and do that same thing, and you could set those scenes up by going to what's my editing software I use.
I don't know. That stuff is in your head.
Yeah. There's software out there that you could actually throw those videos together. A couple of things that we learned a couple of weeks ago when first time the churches stepped down from having services, and we had to broadcast live. Internet got blown up all at the same time. Everybody was streaming at the same thing on Facebook and everything. But we were able to go back. Nevo was able. we recorded up until the time we lost connection. Then at the time that we lost connection, we got it back within a minute, and I was still able to put instead of having two parts, part one and part two. We were able to put it together as one whole movie, and by going to iMovie and editing it. So I think there's software out there that can get you there and do what you need. Now the new one that Nevos has come out with is for, I think it's got a little bit more motion to it. It's for outside more videos and everything. Just take a look at it. I've been really happy with this camera here. It it does it by itself. It can you can program the angles that you want. You can program the settings and everything. And it will also follow faces. I can go in here and hit the faces, and it will actually follow just faces.
Yeah, it bounces between who's speaking.
Who's speaking, and it will jump in that 180 degrees. So I can walk. A person could walk around. Recognition in it where we'll recognize it and just follow the face when it's speaking.
So anyway, Holly wants to know what your model number is. Do you know what the model number
model
is?
Number of
I didn't see one on there.
Let's see here. See if I can tell.
Mevo 42731 is what it says, but that's all it tells me. I don't know because this was the first generation
It's
of the
first
cameras,
generation.
and the new generation is this new one that they've got out now, which is kind of
it looks like a camcorder.
Yeah, it looks like a camcorder.
It looks like the handheld camcorders that they come out, and it's only got a 6-hour battery. This in here, the little small unit like this, it's got maybe 50 minutes of airtime on it. I bought the extended 9 hours, I guess 10 hours total, putting them together, and they set on a mic stand. But
and then you've got a Vimeo subscription.
And then it's got a Vimeo app, and it's all done with my iPhone. I mean, everything that we're doing right here is being controlled right here in the app, itself. And I can control the volume. I can add different things. There's some more editing I'm going to do to this. There's some real cool information like this. We can upload PDF files and add them to the video. There's logos that the logo
we'll probably overlay that.
Yeah,
and it saves to an SD card. We're saved to Facebook Live. We're streamed to YouTube. We're saved in Vimeo. So all of it exists, and it just captures everything. So when the internet goes out on Facebook Live or something happens,
so it doesn't shut the camera off or anything like that. So it's not, relying on.
Do it.
Yeah, well,
I don't need that stress in my life.
It doesn't rely upon the connection on your phone, wireless connection or anything like that. The phone, if it loses Wi-Fi, the camera, if it's recording, it will record seamlessly on the SD card. So it also has a port in the back of it where you can hook it up to your Ethernet card too. So what in the world happened there? Did we lose it?
Mm-hmm.
We lost it. So, but we're still recording. So.
Well, Holly, I understand it's programming is not my favorite thing either. I'm not interested in all of this mess, but we're learning things, and it's not as hard as it really sounds.
Somebody just do it for us.
That we needed a videographer because I wanted somebody that would come and do this for us. He's working hard at learning how to make it all automated so that we don't have to necessarily do that.
I can set it up there and run it with the iPad or something like that, and just like it's sitting here, it's running. We can see it. It's on the iPhone right now, and I put my iPhone on phone call interrupts. If you forget to do that, sometimes that phone call will just disrupt what you see and what you don't see from our viewing. It will not interrupt the recording. The recording stays online, so
Yeah.
it's all good.
So anyhow, so I don't see any more questions. Does anybody have anything else? And I'll give you some dead air time to ask questions, or I'll just look at Brian for a while. I have some in one of the threads of things that you'd like for us to topics to touch. I know we need to look at the CARES Act and these loans, these stimulus programs. We need to look at different ways to network and be with each other. Because we just can't be with each other. So there's other ways. So Zoom is an option. I'm looking at changing us to that. What we may do centric things where we'll just pop up a Zoom meeting here and there. Kim worked really hard at trying to find a lot of different networking options through her national contacts with other RIA groups. And there was one that we tested that I think has some potential. So I'm going to talk with her a little bit about some ideas I have about that. Um, GoPro 360 camera, Brett.
We used it a couple of times. I still have it, but I mean, I, we used it when we first started out. It was
I think the reason we stopped using it is because Brian has shiny object syndrome, and when Mevo came out,
nice.
Yes, I threw you under the bus. No, we had we were at a conference a couple of years ago, and one of our good friends, Walter, was looking at the Mevo camera for a while and just hadn't pulled the trigger. And Walter had one, and he had Brian do a podcast with it, and he was just sold. So
we sat in a convention in a dining hall that was louder than anything. Hundreds of people were in there, and it's like in the booth area where they were having. I had all the booths, and we sat at a table where we couldn't really hear anything except for us having a conversation right here. But to knock out the noise and everything, the noise cancellation and everything, we were able to hook up our you can hook ear pods up to them. So you can stick it in your ear and use it as a mic as well. And it can record either the sound from the Nevo or.
So I can put these on and cancel you out?
No.
No?
Well, I'll have to program it, but at the same point, the mic on top of the camera, it's recording, but if we wanted to, we could have been having that same conversation with ear pods in our head, in our ears.
Which is what we might do if we do Zoom
meetings. We might do Zoom meetings. It may work out better. But any Apple device, recording device, you can also run this through the sound system and everything from that. So you can use the mic on your cell phone rather than the mic on the Nevo. So it's really interesting. I was sold when we sat there, recorded that as loud as it was, and how crisp it came in by just using headphones and using the mic and the noise cancellation that knocked out all the noise. And we could turn the mic, we could turn the camera and see how everybody. They're not being quiet. But it was knocking out the noise behind us. It wasn't. We were still able to carry on a conversation.
Okay. So it's 10:22. I want to try to wrap us up so everybody can get back to whatever else that is distracting you nowadays.
Miss you guys. It's really tough to sometimes shoot something like this without seeing the interaction. I really miss the interaction and not seeing the comments, and also I know that there's a lot smarter guys that hang out with us that have some good, comments that and it's great to share. So I mean, we really miss that. But don't hesitate to reach out to us if you've got questions or if you've got a topic that you want us to hit. We are still, I mean, being that we're in our little bubble now, we're still looking at seller finance and doing something with seller finance. We were trying to figure out how we were going to actually set that class up or set doing that. We're set coming to the table and doing that. So I think seller finance is going to be a big thing as we come out of this bubble. So
I think it is too. And Brendan just posted the landlords of Johnson County is having their meeting tonight on Zoom, and he's got the link in the comments.
Nice. How many can you get on Zoom?
Depends on to 3, and you can have you're stopped at 40 minutes.
40.
If you have a paid account, then you can do many more.
Many more. Okay. Yep.
Kim Pittman says, as a side note, please support your smaller businesses.
Yes.
Daughter works for Corner Cafe. They're now closed all the way till it's over. Oh, that's too bad because we were driving up and getting
Tomorrow's
stuff.
Thursday. Yeah,
Tomorrow's Thursday. I was going over there again.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well, darn it. But yes, do that because I'm firmly believing that if we can go and support them as much as we can, even if it's carry out, we should do that. So anyhow. Kim says we have up to 300 on the Zoom contract that she's got. So.
Awesome. Okay. Great.
Good deal.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Good deal.
Yeah. Well, definitely a different time to look.
Brian and Michelle show because that's kind of where somebody called us Lucy and Desi the other day. So I don't know if we're that bad, are we? But
she
maybe.
Is. That far behind over there. What's the deal?
Oh yeah. We're having split personality disorder because I've got Brian's phone over there that's showing me the live feed. I've got the Facebook Live, which is 30 seconds or so behind, and then the YouTube that's another minute behind.
It's longer than that.
And then my phone. So we've got a lot going on. Trying to watch it all. Anyhow, looks like everybody from the high school has now decided to get online and do their online classes. So I'm having some interruptions. So we're going to go ahead and sign off and
look forward to Friday. We'll do something on Friday. And she's going to dig into this a little bit more. So hopefully we'll have more information to come to you. So we'll look forward to touching base again on Friday.